made $5 million last year. Minnesota was able to get him for basically a basket of potatoes. So the Yankees could probably get him for nothing next year. Lefty sinker baller, he could add some depth to the rotation potentially. The other one, Shelby Miller, probably less likely because the Diamondbacks are definitely going to be looking to, if anybody wants him, try to save face as much as they can on this trade. So I doubt that they're going to be really eager to get rid of him. But at the same time, if you were able to get him for a cheap package, he would definitely be worth trying to take out an insurance policy and try to add some depth into that rotation. But I don't see the Yankees probably pursuing Shelby Miller. Um, the next question is, what are your expectations for next season? Next season, I basically look for it to be the same as the second half of the 2016 season. I think that the Yankees will continue to rebuild. It should be nice seeing Greg Bird and Gary Sanchez batting back-to-back next season. But at the same time, I don't really have my hopes up for a long playoff run or a world championship next year until I see them play and how they work together. I just don't really see how they can improve that much, especially on offense. Uh, Brett Gardner and Jacoby Ellsbury are probably there for the long haul, especially Ellsbury. Nobody's going to take Ellsbury's contract. Brett Gardner, possibly they could let go of, but at the same time, Brett Gardner led the team in on-base percentage, and it wasn't even close. His OBP was about 350, and next closest was Chase Headley, who was about 326. So I don't really see the Yankees getting rid of Brett Gardner. He's a good veteran presence in the Yankee clubhouse. He's been there his entire career. I doubt you see him move next year. Chase Headley's going to be your third baseman next year. Shortstop and second baseman will be Gregorius and Castro. First base will be Greg Bird. Right field will be a dogfight between Hicks, Judge, Williams, and others to get that right field job and the backup fourth outfielder position. Um, and then at catcher, obviously, we'll have Gary Sanchez next year. DH will probably be Brian McCann, and then on days where lefties pitch, probably a right-hander, maybe Tyler Austin if he makes it out of camp. If they decide to go the Billy Butler route, it would probably be Billy Butler. But like I said, I don't see where they can really improve that much offensively. Greg Bird will be a big contributing factor next season. He will help the Yankees a lot because they didn't get anything from first base this season. But the problem is next year you're probably going to still have the same problem, which is the table setters aren't doing anything. They're not getting on base. They're not stealing bases. The Yankees find themselves in a really bad position. Hopefully Clint Frazier can put together a solid season next year and get to New York as fast as possible. But you can't rely on that for next season, unfortunately. And so I imagine that you'll probably see a lot of Gardner and Ellsbury again next year. And Gardner, while I'm not a huge fan because he's not performing to where I'd like him to be, especially for someone who's batting that high in the order. I'd take Brett Gardner's season all day over Ellsbury's. Ellsbury's really struggled to get on base this year. I really think Ellsbury's a lot of the root of the Yankees' offensive woes. He has the third highest OBP on the team, but I mean, his OBP is only 322. He's not getting on base enough. He's not being able to set the table for your guys at 3-4. So it's been a struggle. Hopefully he can put together a decent season next year. He's at the point in his career now where I don't think that you can really look for him to have a breakout year like he did with the Red Sox that year. I'm still trying to figure out how he hit 31, 32 home runs, whatever it was. I'm still trying to figure out how that was even possible that season because I haven't seen anything like that while he's been in New York. But he's a Yankee, and so I support him. And hopefully next year he can turn the clock back and put together a solid year for the Yankees. But like I said, I don't really see how they can improve offensively. I think offense was their biggest problem this year. Starting pitching was not great, but at the same time, It was good enough where they kept themselves in games. I know CC went through a stretch where he pitched 6 games and they were shut out 4 of the 6 games that he pitched. You just can't have those kinds of things if you want to be a playoff contending team. So they definitely need to look to get better offensively, and hopefully those 1-2 guys can get on in front of people next year. Bullpen, if they sign Chapman, I think their bullpen will be better than it was last season collectively, because I think that there will be some depth. Jonathan Holder, I know he hasn't pitched well this year. I like what I see out of him, though. He's got a good curveball. Seems to be able to locate the ball fairly well. So I do like what I've seen out of Holder. I don't know if he'll make the team out of camp next year, but I like what I've seen from him. And then obviously you have Warren, Clippard, Betances, and then potentially Chapman. You can fill in the holes from there. Tommy Lane will probably stay with the Yankees. He's done a phenomenal job with the Yankees. So I am optimistic on the Yankee bullpen next year. I think collectively it will be better. And then I think the rotation, it'll probably be about the same as this year, really. Last year, you're swapping out Eovaldi and Nova for probably Sessa and Mitchell or Severino, some kind of package of that. So I don't see where any of those 3 guys would really fare much worse than Eovaldi or Nova did this season. So I do think that the rotation will stay about the same. I think that the offense will improve a little bit, but whether it's enough, I'm not sure. Early time will tell us that. But at the same time, like I said, the goal for next year is to continue to rebuild, find out what you have before the big free agency class comes. And then after that free agency class, you can plug in the holes from free agency. And then that is whenever I have high expectations for the Yankees and look for them to make major runs. Last question of the day. Who will take the wild card in the AL? I think Toronto's a lock at this point. I don't see them really getting knocked out of it. I think Toronto will be okay. I don't think Baltimore is going to be okay, though, for one reason. I think the Yankees are really looking to spoil their season. I know that it's just all fun and games, but the Orioles have poked a lot of fun at the Yankees on Twitter lately. So I'm sure that the Yankees will stay motivated. And obviously, the Yankees always want to win. We have 3 games left to go. We want to win all 3. We're the Yankees. That's what we're all about. We're about winning. So I think that the Yankees will really come out with a competitive spirit over this next 3-game set. And while that 3-game set's going on, Detroit's going to be playing Atlanta. So I think Detroit might creep in there and actually take the second wild card. Since I live so close to Baltimore and all my friends are Orioles fans, I really hope. But I don't. Baltimore is going into this series with Gallardo and Miley starting 2 games against us. I think that they are not as well set up to make the playoffs as the Blue Jays are. So instead of going conventional and saying that Toronto and Baltimore both makes it, I'm going to say that Detroit takes over the second wild card. So that's everything. I hope that you enjoyed the video, and we'll be getting more questions for this upcoming week's episode. And we will also start doing some things like editing, and we'll also have my second guy over here that can disagree with me on certain things. So anyway, hope you enjoyed it. Continue to check out the website, diehardnyy.com. We upload stories daily, so continue to check us out. It's a fan of it's a website of diehard fans for diehard fans just like you. I hope that you've had a great time, and until next time, go Yankees.